fans and the iconic Caesars Superdome, the long-term home of the All-State Sugar Bowl, which this year, of course, is part of the college football playoff. We've reached the semifinal stage, one last hurdle to clear before the national championship game. We'll find out here today which side has the toughness and the depth to keep driving toward that ultimate goal, the chance to raise that gold trophy over their heads. As we'll see the number 3 seed in this playoff, the Miami Hurricanes, taking on the number 2 seed in the playoff, the Florida Gators. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Chris Fowler, joined by Kirk Herbstreit. It's been a tremendous college football playoff so far, and it's down to this, the semifinals. Which team will head on to the national championship game? Kickoff team out there. We are about to get cranked up with a semifinal collision. Bringing it out, it's Hawkins. Tackle at the 13. Not great field position to start the drive. Big guys up front lined up. It's first down. Shotgun formation. Here's an inside give.
Boy, Chris, just watching this first play, this battle at the line of scrimmage in such a big game is going to be fascinating and go a long way in determining who wins this game.
Nice grab. It's Wilson. Defense makes the stop very close to a first down.
Well, it's a game of matchups. Always has been and it always will be, especially on the perimeter. And the quarterback believes his guy is better than their guy.
They'll try to keep the opening drive going here. It's 3rd down and 2. Looking to pick up the first down through the air. Quarterback moving out of the pocket, trying to create. Well, he extended the play, but doesn't find the receiver open and goes down.
This is exactly how you can slow down the momentum and a rhythm of an offense. You got to get some tackles for a loss and some sacks. This time, they come up with a sack by getting after that quarterback.
And the coverage team makes the stop on this return. Fresh set of downs for the offense. First down. Pre-snap motion from the receiver. The receiver's got it on a jet sweep. Goes backwards, losing 3 yards there.
You know, I don't want to get away from a jet sweep. I think it's a good call. This one just didn't work out, so now you're way behind on the sticks.
Shotgun formation. Here's an inside handoff. And a decent gain there before the defense brings him down.
When you can get good chunks of yardage like this on early downs, it just keeps you on schedule, leading to more manageable 3rd down situations. Never underestimate the value of consistently getting 4 more yards a pop like that.
So the ball at midfield, and now the offense facing a 3rd and long. Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down. That one is incomplete. The defender was right there, and it brings up 4th down now. The Hurricanes will line up to kick it away. First part of the game now, looking to pin him back deep. No fair catch, looking to make a return here. And the return will be brought down. Gators offense retakes the field. They were held to a quick 3-and-out last time, looking to put together a positive drive here. Runs through the defender. They'll tackle him at the 27. The Gators will hustle to the line to run the hurry-up offense. They'll ride the back again here. Tackle made at the 41. It's a nice gain. They're getting closer to the 50.
Well, nice first down here by this running back, and what he's doing today makes me reflect on some of the great backs that they've had over the years in Gainesville. Emmitt Smith, arguably one of the best backs, if not the best back in the history of the game. Damian Pierce more recently, but even guys like Eric Rett and Fred Taylor, just really talented running backs with the ability to take it to the house.
Defense surrounds him. Just a short gain on that completion.
Well, they don't pick up the first down here, but if you can use the quick passing game to stay ahead of the chains, it definitely helps your offense. If that defense starts to creep up and take that away, that's when you can take a shot downfield.
Handoff here from the shotgun. Breaks loose at the 45. Breaks clear over the right side. Can they chase him down? Touchdown, Florida. It was a foot race and he won it. Planning up to try the extra point. And the PAT makes it 7-0. Getting set to kick the ball off now. He's going to return it from near the goal line. Not much on the return. They'll stop him at the 24. Good coverage. And the Hurricanes offense retakes the field. This group is coming off a quick 3 and out. Can they put something together in this drive? Close to the tight end. And it's incomplete. The defender arrived the same time as the football. And now it's second down.
It has been a tough first half in this playoff game for this offense. They cannot get anything going through the air. Not only are they down the scoreboard, but there's really nothing to build around as we get ready to go into the second half.
He's back to throw again on 2nd and 10. And here comes a deep shot. The catch is made for a huge pickup. Oh, and he breaks free. It's a foot race. And he takes it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Canes.
Boy, we see more and more of this in college football. If you get the right guy in that slot that can win the one-on-one matchups, you take some chances. Here they got the matchup that they wanted and hit it for the touchdown.
And the extra point splits the uprights. Kickoff team on the field getting set now. He'll bring it out from his end zone. And he'll be tackled right at the 20. That's a good job by the coverage team. And the Florida offense is back out on the field now. They scored a touchdown on the last possession. Let's see if this defense has been able to come up with some adjustments and stop them this time. They'll tackle him at the 27. The Gators hustle to the line to crank up the tempo.
Chris, I just love to see this offensive line and this running game able to establish themselves. This back is already over 50 yards. We're in the first half, so really good job of establishing the run game. Opens up the play action, opens up one-on-one opportunities. Just keep winning the battle up front.
Pretty easy call for the head coach. He will accept that penalty, of course. First down here for this offense. Trying to find room. It's Daniels. He's found some room at the 45. There's the tackle, but first down yardage.
Chris, that last carry puts him now at 100 yards for the game. Well, he's been patient, followed his blocks, let everything develop in front of him, then use that burst to pick up some good gains today.
And they finally stop him, but a decent gain that time. Offense right to the line, playing with tempo now. Scanning the field. It's Lagway. The pass rush closing in. Hits the ball off as he's hit, but it's incomplete.
Well, it's pretty simple. The defensive line does a great job of getting after the quarterback and forcing him into that incompletion.
After the incompletion, they'll come to the line for a 3rd and 4. And the quarterback keeps it here. They get him at the 42, good enough for a first down. The Gators are on the move here.
Boy, this offense does such a great job of putting the threat of the quarterback and the running back on this defense. It puts the defense away. This time, the quarterback gets out and shows you the speed he has as well.
Pass complete. It's second down now. Out of the shotgun, he hands it off. And he's tackled, but only after picking up a first down. The Gators come to the line to start a fresh set of downs.
Chris, it's the consistency of this back is giving this defense fits. They've got to come up with some changes up front. This guy's already over 50 yards, and if he keeps running the way he is, not only is he having a great day, but it's going to give this quarterback a chance to hit some big plays downfield off play action.
Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2.
And the biggest thing when you run the jet sweep, you cannot afford penetration. Here the defense does a nice job almost anticipating the jet sweep is coming, and they make this offense pay for that with a significant loss.
Quarterback escapes the pocket and takes off. Didn't see anybody open, just throws it away. And that's now going to bring up third down. Dropping back, we're going to throw for the first down. Here's a shot toward the end zone. And he's got it. Touchdown, Gators. They'll try to add to the lead now with a PAT. PAT makes it a 7-point lead. Here's the kickoff team now, set to boot this one away. And the kickoff will be returned. And the coverage team able to bring him down. And the Miami offense is back on the field. They reached the end zone the last time out, trying to do the same thing here. They're going to run it here. It's a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9 coming up.
Well, the defense coordinator this week all week telling us about gap integrity, not giving this running back any creases at all. Really sound defense on that play.
2nd down after that run on the previous play. Back to pass. It's Williams. Incomplete. Very lucky to avoid an interception there.
Pretty nice catch here, but a missed opportunity for an interception. Let's face it, a lot of these defenders, they've got it all. Speed, athleticism, hands, sometimes a little questionable, as we saw here.
And he'll drop back here on 3rd down. Makes the throw across the middle of the field. Incomplete for a 3rd straight play.
Boy, this is all about the defense here. Nice stop here on 3rd down, but really it's about trying to get this offense behind the sticks. Once you get them behind the sticks, you can mix up your coverages, really affect the quarterback's eyes and disrupt the timing and the rhythm of what the offense is trying to do. Now we've got another big 4th down coming up.
Time for one more play here in the quarter. Out of the shotgun, he'll hand it off. Offense stopped behind the line. A big play by the defense to wrap up the first period. Offense getting set for a 2nd down here to begin the quarter. Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. Breaks into the clear. It's a sprint. Past the 20. No stopping him. Takes it all the way. Touchdown, Florida. But they'll try to add to the lead now with a PAT. The extra point is good, and they stretch the lead a little bit more. Now they get set to kick it away. Returner looking to create better field position. When he's got some space here. They get him down, but he found a good lane in that return. And so the drive starts with pretty decent field position. And here comes the Miami offense back out onto the field. They're coming off a 3-and-out, looking to produce a positive drive here. Single back, takes the handoff. Breaks loose at the 45. And a nice first down game there. They get him down, but very close to the first down marker.
Boy, positive yards there on 1st and 10. Good job up front by that offensive line. Good hard running by this running back. And now you got a lot of options. That playbook can really open up on 2nd and inches.
It's a quick grab, and he will be stuffed for no gain.
I love the call here with the wide receiver screen. Where's he going to go? The blockers do not do their job and open up any running lanes at all.
Offense breaks the huddle and gets set. It's 3rd down. Try and muscle for the 1st down. They get him down, but he crosses midfield, spot the ball to 44.
Great job here by this offense being able to convert. Let's face it, they've dug themselves a hole. They're down early in this game. And with all this hype, the last thing you want to do is have to punt the ball. Come up with a conversion, keep your rhythm, keep your momentum, stick to your playbook. Good job here. Now let's see if they can keep that rhythm going.
Here's the 2nd down play. To throw, it's Williams. Looking for his big tight end. It's caught downfield. Brought down quickly, but the gain moves the football to the 30.
Chris, that's another positive game for this offense, and this quarterback continues to show why he's had such a great year this year. When he has time to throw, he gets his feet set. He's as accurate as any quarterback in the country.
He's going to take off here. Really solid 1st down gain. He's just short of the marker, so maybe a chance here to take a downfield shot.
Chris, I love the patience here by the quarterback. He's waiting for something to happen downfield, but it's not there. Then you see the athletic ability to be able to pick up some good yards.
2nd down, we're going to throw it. And they hit him just as he releases the ball. It's incomplete. The Canes will come to the line to run the hurry-up. On 3rd and short, they try to pick it up on the ground. And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage.
It's a good job here by this offensive line and the running back. Listen, these guys have really had a lot to do with why they're in this playoff game, right? So give it to the offensive line in the back. Get the 1st down in this 3rd and short. See what you can do from here.
That one falls incomplete. Good defensive play. Brings up 2nd down.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out the punishment, but here, he's the one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, he's unable to hold on to the football.
Pre-snap motion from the offense. Looking to pass here on 2nd down. It's a fumble. Defense has got the football.
Boy, just a tough way for this offense to end that drive. They put together a bunch of 1st downs, moving the ball, and then to put it on the ground.
The Florida offense retakes the field. They take the field with serious momentum. They have been tough to stop so far. Can they keep it going? And the senior able to make the stop after a short gain.
Chris, you know, the spread era over the years has always grown offensively, but what I've been always impressed with defenses that really build their defense to play in space still have an ability to be sound at the line of scrimmage and defend a running game. It's exactly what we saw right there.
They flip it to him on the jet sweep. Tackle made after a nice pickup on the play. 1st down play call coming up. How aggressive will it be? Here comes a handoff. Defense makes the stop after a 5-yard gain, so 2nd and 5.
Great offenses are able to stay ahead of the chains, and runs like that on 1st down are exactly what I'm talking about. Now you have a lot that you can call here on this 2nd down.
Dropping back, it's Lagway. Dump off caught by the running back. They bring him down, but not before he gains 1st down yardage.
Boy, another positive game for this offense, and this quarterback continues to show how dangerous he is when he has time to throw. The defensive coordinator's got to change up his looks, maybe bring in the blitz, anything they can do to get this quarterback out of this rhythm.
And they'll stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. 2nd down here, time for one more play before the 2-minute warning. Off with RPO, the quarterback looks to his right, and they get him down after the completion. It's the 2-minute warning. We've got a blowout developing here before halftime. Third down after that running play. From the shotgun, he's probing the secondary. It's an out route, the catch made, and he moves the ball across midfield and picks up a first down. The Gators come to the line to run the hurry-up. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And he's brought down after a short gain, does not make the first down yardage. Second down after that run on the previous play. There's the snap. They'll set up to throw. Oh, it's picked off. What a play. Going the other way, can they catch him? And he'll be taken down, but after a good return.
He didn't really seem to feel like he had anybody open. He just puts it up in the air, and the defense says, thank you, we'll take it.
And the Hurricanes offense retakes the field. Not a whole lot of time remaining before halftime to cut into this lead. Off target with the throw, incomplete. Offense facing a 2nd and 10. Back to throw. It's Williams. The pass is intercepted. Not much on the return there, but the interception gives the football back to the offense at the 47.
Well, the quarterback ends up being a tad aggressive and ends up paying for it with a pick. I get that that might be part of his playing style, but there's a difference between being aggressive and being careless.
So here we go. First play of the drive, under 2 minutes before halftime. One back in the backfield, and he'll get the carry. Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2.
Chris, I think we all kind of get caught up in third down. What's an offense doing on third down? But I think what's also important is how well you defend first down. If you can hold your opponents to a short gain or a tackle for a loss, you throw the offense out of whack, and their game plan gets much more challenging to try to come up with that first down.
No huddle now for the offense. Can he get there on the ground? Finds room at the 30. And they pick up the first down. Tackle at the 25.
You know, all week, the defensive coordinator told us about the quarterback. He told us about the receivers and how they're going to throw the football. But, man, they better get locked in on stopping this run game because that was a big-time game.
And they'll keep it on the ground. Running back has the handoff. And he's able to find some running room. Nice pickup.
Chris, the defense dials up the blitz. They're unable to get into the backfield, giving the running back enough room. I'll tell you, the linebacker makes a great play just to come up with a tackle here.
They look to throw it here on second down. He shreds the tackle. The defense will wrap him up, but he's able to scramble for a first down and keep the drive going.
Defense does a great job of taking everything away downfield. This quarterback wanted to take a shot, but nothing is there. The only problem is they didn't account for him taking off and running, so he picks up the first down.
Couldn't quite get in, but they're knocking on the door at the 1. Timeout is called to talk strategy. Time for just 1 or 2 plays here before halftime. So the offense takes the field in the final seconds of the half. Chance for just a couple more plays.
29 Philly. 2-9 Philly. Razor.
On second and goal, they'll give it to him again. Try to run it up the middle, but get nothing. So a timeout is called. Just a few seconds left here in the first half. This will likely be the last play of the half. Trying to throw for it on third and goal. And it's caught. Touchdown, Gators. But they'll try to add to the lead now with a PAT. And And the extra point makes it a 3-touchdown lead. So an important touchdown just before halftime. Not much time for the opposing offense to try to answer before the break. He'll return it from inside the 10-yard line. And he'll be brought down, and that will wrap up the first half of play. And that will do it for the first half here. Kevin Connors now has our halftime update. And the Gators will kick it off to begin the second half. And it's fielded. Returner trying to make something happen. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. And the Miami offense is back on the field. Dropping back, it's Williams. Lets it fly to the wideout. Catch made on the right side. That's a big gain. They bring him down, but that is a huge play for this passing game. Big gain.
Just a great throw and an even better catch here by Miami to be able to come up with a big play for this offense. Oh my gosh, just an embarrassment of riches when it comes to Miami in the wide receiver position. And you could say not recently. They had some pretty...
He's going for a big play downfield. Tried to press the ball deep, but it's incomplete.
The offense doesn't come up with the completion here, Chris, but I think it gives you an indication of what they think they can do here in the second half of this playoff game.
Offense lines up for a second down play off the incompletion. Quarterback looking to connect with the receiver here. Throws to the tight end. But they can't make the connection. Ball's incomplete.
Well, Chris, as you know, anymore in college football, these tight ends are essentially wide receivers. They move them all over the place and try to find a good matchup. And they had one. They're just unable to complete the pass.
Promising start with the drive, but now 2 incompletions sets up a 3rd and 10. He's moving out of the pocket. Tries to get it to the running back. This time, a completion. They've got him, but that completion good enough for first down yardage.
Good job by this offensive line and a great throw by the quarterback to get that first down there on 3rd down. It's exactly what they needed to do. This is too big of a game. They've come too far. They're in the playoff. You're down in the second half. Good job of keeping this drive alive.
Second down after the incompletion. Back to throw. It's Williams. And he dumps it off to the tight end.
That's what makes this tight end so dangerous. You can flex him out into that slot position. He shows you his versatility. He can be an inline guy that can block, but here he shows you what he can do with his hands.
3rd down. This offense could really use a conversion here, down multiple scores. Looking for his big tight end. Oh, that one's picked off. Can he take it all the way? Across midfield. At the 30 now. At the 10 now. Touchdown, Florida. Wow, what a play. A defensive score. And a pick 6. A monster play by this defense here.
That defender showed a lot of athletic ability there with the ball in his hands. I wouldn't be surprised if the head coach watching that thought about maybe giving him some reps as a returner after that touchdown.
Now the important point after attempts. And the kick is up and good. They tack on a point to their lead. Kickoff team is on the field to boot this one away. Returner decides to field it. Solid job by the coverage team. They bring him down at the 16. here comes the Miami offense back out onto the field. They moved the ball in the last possession, but a devastating end of the drive, a pick 6. And they recover from that right now. And they're finally able to stop him. A great execution on the screen pass. Fooled the defense there.
Boy, this is great execution here on this screen play to the running back to pick up big yards in the first down. I think in the process, Chris, they sent a message to the defense. You can rush our quarterback all you want, but when you do, you better be careful because we're going to throw the screen on you.
He's escaping the pocket now. Short throw complete to the tight end. And now the defense able to bring him down.
And here the tight end shows off his hands for a nice game. Love to see the big man get his touches.
Looking to throw. It's Williams. Short pass finds the tight end. And they wrap him up after the completion just short of the first down marker.
Boy, that's pretty good coverage here by this defense. Not much of a window to throw this ball into, but the quarterback's accuracy and the size of the tight end picks up a nice game.
Crucial third down play right here. Looking to pick up the first down through the air. Grab near the sticks. It's Carr. Brought down to the 46. Good enough for a first down. They bring him down, but the junior quarterback showing off the cannon. The Canes will try to keep this drive moving. Keeping it on the ground here. They pick up 4, so second down and 6 coming up.
Nice job here of controlling the line of scrimmage by this offensive line. The back does what he needs to do to get positive yards on first down.
Second down after that run on the previous play. And he'll set up to throw. Lets it go quickly. Easy throw to a wide-open receiver downfield. Touchdown, Hurricanes. No chance to catch him.
This guy can do it all. We've seen him go behind coverage and make plays downfield. We can see him catch the ball underneath just like this. And when he catches a football, he is so dangerous after the catch. This one leads him into the end zone for the 6 points.
And it's caught in the end zone for a 2-point conversion to cut into this lead. Now the kickoff team is out on the field. And from deep in the end zone, he'll bring it out. He'll be tackled at the 17. Strong job by the coverage team. The Gators offense retakes the field. The last possession was just old school power football. Let's see if they can keep that going here. Physical run, breaks through a tackle. Oh, and he's in the clear now. It's a foot race. At the 20. Touchdown, Gators. To stretch the lead, the route is on.
Oh, my. What a great play call here by the offensive coordinator. The running back received some great blocking up front and just took off with it, carving up this defense all the way to the end zone.
And the extra point was up and good. The kickoff team on the field now as they get set to send this one away. Fields it just outside the goal line. He's got an opening. Watch out. He's got great speed. Turns on the speed. It's a foot race. They can't catch him. Touchdown. That is an unforgettable moment for that kick return. A touchdown in a playoff game.
Great blocking to set this return up. And, of course, you can see his natural instincts as a runner. Once he got through that initial surge from the coverage unit, nobody's going to stop him from scoring.
Now a 2-point conversion attempt coming up. Keep it on the ground, trying to power in for the touchdown. And he's not going to get there. The 2-point try fails. They can't cut into this deficit any further. Kickoff team has come on the field now to send this one away. He's going to return it from deep in the end zone. Tackled at the 13. Not great field position to start the drive. Florida offense is back out on the field now. They really built momentum in this game. They've been hard to stop. Can the defense make some adjustments, come up with a stop here? They pressure him and sack him to be tackled inside the 10.
Just a great job here by this linebacker to be able to come up with that sack there on the blitz. Big play for this defense. And, man, Chris, you think about the linebacker play at the University of Miami over the years, it starts with Ray Lewis, and it could end with him, to be honest, but the list just keeps going. Michael Barrow, Jonathan Vilma, and Dan Morgan. You can go on and on and on, and this guy right now is trying to live up to that standard.
To throw, it's Lagway. He's moving out of the pocket now. Looking to scramble now.
Nice job of this defense taking away the primary receiver, even the second and third option. But the quarterback's legs are the difference. They almost kept him short, but instead, he gets that first down.
They'll try and run it. Here's the running back. Great cut there.
Well, much like what we saw in the first half, Chris, in this playoff game, no adjustments. Go right back to giving his running back the football. He's had a monster day and continues to get positive yards.
Here we go. First play of the quarter. Offense setting up for a second down play. Ball handed off. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1.
Well, these obvious running situations are very tough when you're working with the lead late in the game because you know the defense is going to stack the line of scrimmage, make it as difficult as possible for you to run the football. So nice job there by the defense. They're trying to punch that ball out, do anything they can at all to get the ball back.
Drops back, needing a third down completion here. Breaks free. Trying to create here on the move. And it's intercepted. Beautiful timing there. Breaks a tackle into the clear. And he's got some open field ahead. It's a big return off the INT. They steal their offensive possession.
Wow, a risky call by the offensive coordinator, playing with the lead in the playoff in the second half, throwing the football. I don't disagree with it, but now you give this defense a chance to create a turnover, and they capitalize here with the pick.
Couldn't quite get there, brought down at the 2. The Hurricanes come up to the line to crank the tempo up here. Looking to score with a run to the right. Fights his way in for the score. Touchdown for the U. Well, they began with great field position, and that didn't take long at all, Kurt.
Well, that's how you take advantage of an opportunity. Your defense sets you up in great field position. You're not looking for a field goal. You're looking for a touchdown. Give credit to this offense for being aggressive and punching it in.
And the PAT is good. Kickoff team is on the field. Let's see if they give the returner a chance to bring this one back. And from deep in the end zone, he'll bring it out. Tackled at the 12. Coach wishes he left that one in the end zone. And the Florida offense retakes the field. The last possession ended in an interception. Let's see if they continue to trust this quarterback in the passing game. That run moves the ball to the 16.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to rely on that offensive line in the running game here to be able to secure a victory. Good call, and just keep working that clock.
The game makes it second and medium. Handoff in a single back formation. Ball carrier brought down, but a flag's on the field. Let's check out this call. So the holding penalty in the offense backs him up 10 yards. Empty set now. 5 wide receivers. Motion by the back. Defense better adjust. A pop pass on the jet sweep. That's a nice tackle there by the senior. So a tricky situation here. 3rd and very long inside your own 20. How much of a risk do you take? You know, this defense could be very aggressive at this moment. And someone on the line there moved a bit early. Offense gets a 5-yard penalty. And the head coach will decide to accept the penalty and take the yardage. Well, a serious challenge for this offense. You don't want to be in 3rd and long inside your own 20. How much of a risk will they take to try to pick up this first down? Caught over the middle. It's Daniels. And the broken tackle there produces a solid game.
You know, it's 3rd down. As a quarterback, you're sitting there back in the pocket trying to find a matchup that you like. Pretty much everything taken away. I like his thought to get it to the running back because he's a talented, gifted player, but he just could not wiggle free to pick up the first down.
And on 4th down, the punter sends it away. He's got some daylight turning on the speed. Coverage team brings down the returner. And the Hurricanes offense retakes the field. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Defense is coming after him. Hit as he releases it, and the pass ball is incomplete.
That's a misfire there, Chris. This passing game has got to be able to get into sync and find a rhythm.
Important 2nd down play coming up. And he's back to throw again after that incompletion on 1st down. Trying to extend the play. Nothing open downfield, so they'll just throw it away.
Man, the defense took everything away from him. What do you expect him to do? He can't force the ball into traffic and potentially throw the interception. Does a good job of getting out of the pocket, away from the pressure, and just throw the ball away. See what happens on this next down. Interesting call here by the defense in their dime set with 6 defensive backs. Instead of manning up and applying pressure on the receivers, they sit back. Make it tougher on the quarterback. Make him have to read their zone coverage. He gets confused and allows the defensive line to get to the quarterback.
And that's the 2-minute warning here. This offense desperate to cut into this lead and then try to get the football back. The offense stays on the field, down multiple possessions. Easy choice. And he's throwing for it on 4th down. Looking for his big tight end. And it's incomplete to end the drive. A turnover on downs here in the late stages of this game.
Well, down late in this football game by more than a possession, they obviously had to go for this. They just couldn't come up with the execution.
And they'll keep it on the ground, trying to run some clock. Tackle behind the line. It's a loss of 2. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible. Now it's 2nd down here. Using the ground game here. Tailback has the handoff. And that's a solid gain before the defense able to bring him down. And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. So the offense getting set. This is not where you want to be against this defense. 3rd and long. Ball handed off. And they'll stop him just short of the marker. Good effort, but the defense holds. Now it's 4th down. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible. So they'll send out the field goal unit to give it a shot here from very long distance. And a chance here to build the lead, make it a 3-score game in the final quarter. And that is no good. Off the miss, the lead is still 14, a 2-possession game.
Chris, you and I were on the field in warm-ups. We saw this guy hit a 62-yarder that hit the crossbar and actually went over. So we know that he has the leg to make this kick. I just don't think he got enough on it.
Final minutes here. They'll throw it deep downfield. And he's got it down there inside the 35. Potentially a touchdown-saving tackle, but not before a long completion. And the Canes are looking to take advantage of this red zone trip. Looking to pass. It's Williams. Launching one to the end zone. Oh, and it's incomplete. He flat out dropped what would have been a touchdown. Second down coming up now.
Really good job here by the defense in coverage. Did a nice job here of staying in phase with the receiver. There's no chance for a completion at all.
Coming to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a 3rd and long. Looking for some space. It's Joseph. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. They'll hurry to the line here with the clock running. Drops back, looking to throw for it on 3rd down. Makes the grab on the move. Breaks one tackle, gets brought down, but picks up some decent yardage. So down by multiple possessions here. The offense will try to convert here on 4th down. Quarterback drops back. Pass caught. Can he get in? And he's in. Touchdown, Miami.
Well, hold on now, Chris. We're under 2 minutes to go, and these guys will not go away. They hit this extra point. You cover an onside kick. You never know.
Now a 2-point conversion attempt coming up. And the quarterback drops back, looking for an open man. And it's picked off in the end zone. I believe they're lining up to attempt an onside kick. And the hands team able to make the crucial recovery. So this one is tucked away. Time for victory formation. And the quarterback just kneels down. Well, that's a great performance in the pressure moment, but now the job gets even more exciting, even bigger as they go on to the national championship game and play for that trophy.
And this is a new era. I mean, think about the weeks, the amount of games that these guys have been able to play and be able to accomplish this, to get to the national championship. That says everything about the endurance of this football team, both mentally and physically, and they get one more hurdle to see if they can become the national champs.
And that is going to wrap it up. We enjoyed this one here. For Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Chris Fowler, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.